Fine and dandy.
Now, here comes the head. Let's go. Give me a hand, will you, Brian?
And presto, a child is born. Wish they were all this easy.
Someday I'll get a chance to mop your brow like they do in the movies. At least you could perspire a little.
How is she, Herb?
Couldn't be better. A baritone.
A tenor.
Well, anyway, it's a boy.
Take care of the baby for me, will you, Brian?
Right. Silver nitrate, please.
Here it is. I'm instituting a new rule around here. Blue ribbon to tie off the umbilicus of a boy, pink for a girl.
I'm sick of those colors.
Well, you can clean her up and roll her on into her room.
All right, Doctor.
How's your golf, Brian? Rotten. Nothing but double bogeys. I'll sell you my clubs.
I sold them to you, don't you remember?
Uh-huh.
You finished?
In a second. There we go. God bless these nimble fingers.
Let me take a look.
I'm thinking of writing a book. My life in a sand trap.
Brian, take a look at him.
What's the matter?
I don't know. Sounds like a heart lesion.
Oh, let me listen.
Now, just look at him for a second.
He does look peculiar. Hey, let me hear his arm.
Fifth finger turned inward. Ears small, with abnormal kinks and curves.
Yeah. Sounds like a lesion.
Eyes rolling upward. Constant thrusting out of the tongue. Yeah, that all fits. Brian, stand back a foot and look at his face. Not feature by feature, but just the whole face. What do you look like to you?
Mongoloid?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Look at the slant of the palpebral fissure. I'm sure I'm right. You know, some people have families because they think it's the proper thing to do. But these two have kids because they really want them. This is their third. They can't even afford the two they've already got, but they're so happy with them. Now I've got to go out and tell them they've got a mongoloid idiot.
Let me bring in Lillis and Taylor. Let's check it just to be sure.
Go ahead. Look at you. You're only 5 minutes old and you've got no future at all. Poor little dumb thing. Why does this have to happen? Why?
Dr. Sheeran, Dr. Gerald Sheeran, Dr. Nelson, Dr. Peter Nelson.
Hey, you did it again.
Hello, Jerry.
Thanks a lot, Doc. Have a cigar, Whit. Well, I don't have a cigar, but maybe I'll reward you by paying our bill instead. And she's really out, isn't she? I don't know, am I making any sense? This is the third time. I'm just as excited as I was the first. 2 boys and a girl. We haven't even thought of a name for this one, and I'm ready to try for number 4.
Jerry.
Doc, will you excuse me for babbling on? I'm just so happy.
Jerry.
Doc, when will she wake up? I can't wait to talk to her.
Oh, it'll be for another hour or so. Jerry, I want to tell you something.
What is it?
This is a little rough.
What is it? What's the matter?
Jerry, sit down, will you?
Well, come on, tell me. Is he dead?
No.
Well, what is it then?
Do you know what a mongoloid is?
one of those... Their faces, they look... They're imbeciles.
That's right.
What do we do with him?
Well,
how can I tell her? How can I say a thing like that to Lee? I can't. I'd rather tell her he died.
Jerry, maybe I can help you.
Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening.
Is there anything I can do for you?
No.
The suspense is killing me. Bless you, Larry. You're the first person that I've had today in here that didn't say, when it reaches 200, shell. Yeah, you got the blood pressure of a man of 50.
You need all that equipment to tell my age?
It couldn't be better, Larry. Now, hold still.
I know any number of cute ones to go with this procedure.
Come in.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right, Brian. They're all fellas. Brian McSorley, Florence Preston.
How are you? How do you do?
Huh? What's the matter with you?
They just arrested Bill Conrad.
Arrested him? What for?
Murder.
Oh, you're kidding.
I'm not. That mongoloid baby he delivered yesterday morning.
Oh, yeah. He had me in to look at it.
Well, it died 5 or 6 hours later. And they found 1.5 grains of morphine in it at the autopsy. A nurse saw Bill administer the hypo in the nursery.
And she turned him in. Poor guy. Well, I suppose he's not the first doctor ever to... Open your mouth. I suppose once they got him, that's it, huh? Yeah. Mouth is beautiful. You ever commit a mercy killing?
No.
Did you? Read deeply, huh?
Well, I'll talk to you later. Nice to have met you, Mr. Preston.
Good afternoon. guy, Bill Conrad. Mongoloid, huh? Well, I suppose you can argue that both ways.
Philosophically, you can. Legally, you can't. A mercy killing is first-degree murder, period.
Not the way you feel about it?
Well, I don't know. I've never been involved in one.
What are you being so cagey about? Nobody here but us chickens.
I don't know the circumstances. It's not possible.
Can't you lawyers ever say anything straight?
Look, if I had inoperable cancer, how would you tell me?
Dandy. Suppose we're both masters of double talking. Larry. I wish you'd go see him. You might help.
Well, you know I can't solicit clients.
Neither can I. How'd you come to me originally?
By recommendation.
I recommend you. Okay?
Well, now, look, Jack, I don't know if he'd want me.
I'm going to need some blood now. You want me to use a needle or an axe?
He's a good friend of yours, isn't he?
He's a sadistic killer. But as I say, he's a lovely guy.
You the folks ordered the handyman?
Yes, couldn't find the light switch.
It was right there all the time. How are you, John?
I'm fine, thank you. A little hungry, though.
Oh, you have a date? Well, don't let me interrupt. I'm going down to the tombs to talk to a doctor who's been accused of a mercy killing.
Who was killed?
An infant. Go right ahead. I'll talk to him alone.
Oh, you mind if I come along?
Well, I mind. You know, one of these days, I may commit a mercy killing of my own. I may put you out of my misery.
Listen, Dad, how long do you think we're going to be?
Not too long.
Johnny, why don't you come along with us? We can eat dinner later.
Oh, then I'll sit in the lobby of the tombs again, trying not to look like a hood. Very well, Counselor. I'm in your hands.
That's a good girl.
There's one thing I've learned from this association, though.
Hmm?
How to maintain a pleasant disposition in the face of disaster.
I'm sorry, honey.
I'm hungry.
Oh, come on.
There wouldn't be much point in my denying it. Yes, I killed a child.
With morphine.
That's right, with morphine. Almost immediately and absolutely without pain.
How do you feel about it?
Do I regret it? Is that what you mean? Well, that's pretty hard to answer, sitting here in prison. I regret being caught.
How long did you think about it beforehand?
About 6 hours. I suppose that's enough time to allow the state to argue premeditation.
6 seconds is enough under the right conditions. Tell me, why did you take the responsibility of doing it?
Well, I've asked myself that. I think it was pity more than anything else. And that's an emotion a doctor is not supposed to allow himself. But I just felt so sorry for those people. That strange little child.
But a doctor has to make decisions like that almost every day. Sometimes you have just a few seconds to plan your next move. If it's wrong, the patient may die. Isn't that so, Doctor?
Yes, but it's not the same. You see, it's a question of intent.
That's right. You're very honest, Dr. Conrad.
I killed a human being knowingly. There's no point in being dishonest about it.
Would you do it again under the same circumstances?
I don't know. I think so.
Now, let's be clear about this. It's a first-degree murder indictment, unless the district attorney can be talked into something less, which I doubt. The afternoon papers are full of it.
And if I don't win, it means the death penalty, doesn't it?
Possibly. But the best you can get is life imprisonment, if the jury recommends mercy.
An eye for an eye. Well, we civilized people have a long way to go, haven't we?
Yes, we have. It's possible that capital punishment will be abolished tomorrow, but it's also possible that a way to prevent Mongolism will be found tomorrow. Isn't that true, Doctor? I don't happen to agree with what you did. But if you'll have me, I'll be happy to defend you.
Thank you.
Guard.
You know, you surprise me all the time.
Why?
Of all the people I know, I would have thought you'd agree with what Dr. Conrad did.
Well, I don't.
Why not?
I don't approve of men playing God. Do you know how dangerous that kind of thing can become? Remember the mercy killings in Nazi Germany?
We're not talking about sadistic maniacs killing off old people because they consider them useless. We're talking about a system of legalized mercy killing.
We don't have the machinery for that. And anyway, I don't think I believe in it.
Why'd you take the case?
I don't know. That man impressed me very much.
He doesn't doubt what he did.
He hasn't had time to think about it yet.
Well, how are you going to defend him?
That's something I haven't had time to think about yet.
He's a cinch.
Who do you like in the fifth?
Say, you hungry?
Well, not really. A nice man gave me some hashish to eat.
Listen, I thought since we're so close to Chinatown, we could eat there. You want to eat with us, Dad?
Oh, come on. Somebody's got to pay.
That's right. I would bring the child up. I wouldn't care what was wrong with it. How do we know it wouldn't be the happiest child on earth?
By all the standards we have for happiness, it wouldn't be.
Oh. Who says our standards are absolutely correct?
Not I. That's what I'm talking about. Your standards cause you to stick to the letter of the law. Maybe you're wrong.
Larry. Look, Larry, you know how I feel about you. And I'd like to go along with you because it is you. But the man committed a murder. Now, look, he thought about it. He planned it. He tried not to get caught. And he was caught right in the act. I can't reduce the charge.
Now, wait a minute. You mean you don't want to?
Ken.
I don't want to.
Well, what, you think he deserves to die?
It's not up to me. Let's let the jury decide that.
Look, answer me this. Why do you think Dr. Conrad killed that baby?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
That's a brilliant answer.
Now, Ken, that's enough.
Now, wait a minute, Dad. I happen to have something to say. I'll tell you why he killed. Out of pity. He killed something that wasn't really alive. Conrad's a good man. He's not a criminal.
He broke the law.
He risked his life to show mercy, and you can do it for free.
I'm not in the mercy business.
Now, Ken, you're not helping matters any.
Oh, what's the difference? He's got his mind made up. Well, blow off a little steam.
Blow it off outside, will you, Sonny? I'm busy.
Boy, you really enjoy this, don't you? What do? You go up and watch him throw the switch every once in a while just for kicks.
All right, Sonny, just take a little
Don't
walk.
call me Sonny.
Look, will you get this Junior Clarence Dow out of here before I throw him out?
You come on, throw me out.
Ken.
It'll be a pleasure.
Ken, that's enough. You're lucky he didn't connect, Charlie. I'd like to say a few words about your footwork.
Well, I'm waiting. I suppose you're going to say, what'd you accomplish by that?
Well, you did accomplish something. In 25 years of practicing law, I never once got a fat lip from an assistant district attorney. Come on, I'll buy you a nice cue.
Please, go away.
Mrs. Warner, I don't mean to upset you. I'm sorry. I just wanted to talk.
I never even saw him.
Lee, don't.
No. I carried him. I gave birth to him, and they never showed him to me. Didn't I have a right to see my own baby?
He's dead, Lee. What's the sense of...
Nobody asked me.
What would you have said, Mrs. Warner?
I would have said, let me keep him.
Lee, Mr. Preston is here because he's defending Bill Conrad.
I don't care about that.
Yes, you do. Bill risked his life to save us from unhappiness.
Why didn't he wait? Why didn't he ask?
He asked me.
You?
That's right.
And you said yes?
You never would have known.
You let him kill your own child.
Lee, there's so many things to
Don't
talk
touch
about.
me.
Lee.
Get your hands off me, please. I wanted him. Oh, I wanted him. I wanted him.
This is not a complicated case, ladies and gentlemen. It happens to be a simple, unadorned, premeditated murder. The murder of an infant 6 hours old. An infant too young to have a name. An infant known only on the records and for all time as Baby Boy Warner. Oh, you'll hear all sorts of treacly, sentimental appeals by the defense. You'll hear the words mercy killing. To me, there is no such thing. There is only a killing. And there is no mercy in connection with a killing. The state is going to ask you to bring in a verdict of guilty of murder in the first degree against a man who has taken the province of God into his hands. I feel confident that you will do so. Thank you.
I have only one thought to leave with you now. Just as the district attorney has claimed that Dr. William Conrad has taken the province of God into his own hands, so too will you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, be taking a human life into your hands. I ask you to think long and deeply about that.
And did you, in your official capacity as county medical examiner, perform a complete autopsy on the infant in question?
I did.
What were your findings, Doctor?
Chemical and microscopic analysis showed approximately 1 1/2 grains of morphine in the infant's body.
And do you have an opinion which you can state with reasonable medical certainty as to the cause of death?
Yes, I have. Death was caused by the aforementioned morphine.
No further questions.
Doctor, I wonder whether you'd be kind enough to tell the jury whether or not the infant in question was in perfect health.
No, it wasn't.
Why didn't you tell the district attorney that?
He didn't ask me.
I see. What was not perfect about the infant's health, Doctor?
He had a heart lesion.
And what exactly is a heart lesion?
In this case, it was a hole with a diameter of 3/8 of an inch between the right and left walls of the heart.
Does that mean it was a severe heart lesion?
Fairly severe.
Could a lesion of this kind cause death?
An infant can live for quite some
Could
time.
it cause death?
Yes.
No further questions.
Dr. Short, was the heart lesion the cause of death?
No, sir.
Was the morphine in the body the cause of death?
Yes, sir.
What is the life expectancy of an infant with this kind of heart lesion, Doctor?
There's no telling.
10 years?
There's no telling.
10 minutes?
I told you that...
There's no telling. Thank you. No further questions.
Call Marguerite Tobin. Where are you assigned in the hospital, Miss Tobin?
The 6th floor nursery.
Is that where the newborn infants are kept?
Yes, that nursery.
Were you on duty August 3rd, Tuesday this year?
Yes, sir.
What time did you come on duty?
At 8 a.m.
What time was the Warner baby brought into the nursery?
It was about 8:30.
Did you receive any special instructions in regard to this baby?
Yes, I was told to watch him carefully.
Were you given any reason for that?
He had a heart lesion.
Did you see Dr. William Conrad that morning?
Yes.
Will you tell the jury in your own words where and when and what happened, please?
Well, I saw Dr. Conrad about 3 times in the nursery. The first time was around 9 a.m. Then I saw him again at 11 a.m. And finally at about 1:45 in the afternoon. The first 2 times he just came in and stood over the Warner baby bassinet and just staring at him.
For how long?
Oh, 5, maybe 10 minutes each time.
And what happened the third time?
Well, the third time he came in and he stood over the bassinet again, just staring. Well, I was beginning to think he was acting very peculiarly.
Objection!
Sustained. We're not concerned with what you thought, Miss Tobin, just with what happened.
Yes, sir.
Go on, Miss Tobin.
Well, he was standing over the bassinet, staring at the baby. So I said, well, could I help you? He said no. He didn't even look up. Well, I thought I'd better go back to my desk. It's just outside the nursery. So I went back there. I stayed for a minute or 2. And then I thought I'd better go back in because Dr. Conrad was still in there. So I went back in. And there was Dr. Conrad giving this baby a hypo.
Which baby?
Well, the Warner baby, the one we're talking about.
And then what happened?
Well, I asked him what was in the hypo, because I have to enter any medication on my chart. He said not to bother. While we were talking, the baby began having convulsions. And then it died. The convulsions couldn't have lasted more than 10 seconds.
And then what happened?
Well, I asked Dr. Conrad what was in the hypo, and he said morphine. But he said I wasn't to mention it, because the baby wasn't, well, it wasn't all there, something like that. And that it was better off dead. Well, I want to tell you that was a very pretty baby.
That's enough, Miss Tobin. No further questions.
Is there anything else Dr. Conrad did that you haven't told us?
What do you mean?
Something he did a few seconds after the baby died.
Oh, yes.
Well, what was that?
He bent over the bassinet and kissed the baby.
I have no more questions.
That's the case for the state, Your Honor.
We recess until Monday morning, at which time I'll hear motions. I caution the jury not to discuss this case among themselves or with others, nor to form any judgment until all the evidence has been heard.
Short and sweet. That's all they need to establish a prima facie case against you.
Dr. Conrad. Dr. Conrad, I just wanted to tell you. He would have been 7 weeks old today. And you...
Bill, I'm sorry. She wanted that one more than the first two, I think. I don't understand it. I haven't been able to talk to her about it since it happened. She'll get over it.
I know.
Bill, I should be on trial with you.
Don't say that.
No, I should. I ask you.
Go on, take me away, please.
It's not right, Bill. Why should you take the responsibility for something?
Mr. Warner, you better catch up to your wife now.
Bill?
Mr. Warner, now.
You look like you're measuring me for a cloud on the chin.
I just might be.
Cast iron, be careful. Larry, you trying to prove that that baby died of a heart lesion?
Just might be.
I have a new name for your firm. Non-committal and cagey, counselors at law. You have great futures as politicians.
I wonder if you have.
Why do I get the feeling your son doesn't like me?
Because I don't.
No, wait a minute. Let's not start World War III. We've got work to do.
See you gentlemen Monday.
Come on, Ken, I'll drop you.
Boy, I ought to have my head examined.
Give you about an hour and you'll probably have your seat examined.
Say that again.
It's kind of nice, isn't it?
Well, my horse hates me.
I'll talk to him.
Yeah, well, his name is Lulabelle, and he's a lady.
Have you tried kissing her?
No. Good morning. Lovely morning, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I hate to bring this up, but you're not supposed to park your horses here.
They did it themselves, officer. My friend here is in terrible pain.
You know, I could give you a ticket for this. As a matter of fact, I could sell tickets to this. Be gone in 5 minutes.
Thanks, officer. I'll remember you when I eat dinner off the mantelpiece tonight.
Cossack. Come on, Joni, we just got 5 minutes.
John? John?
Susan, where are you going? Where do you think you're going, you little monkey? Oh, my God. Atta girl. Hey, Marge, have you met Susan? I'd like you to meet... Susan! Oh, Bobby. Oh. Hi.
Hi. Are you all right?
I'm awfully sorry.
That's all right, isn't it?
Kiss me again.
Thank you very much. Susan, let's go. You want to get on my back? You want? Huh? Okay. Let's go. Bye.
I know what you're thinking,
I guess it's not very hard, is it?
but it's different, Ken.
Look at him, Joan. Well, there's so much joy there.
But a blind child isn't like the one that Dr. Conrad killed.
There's not that much difference.
Well, yes, there is. You can communicate. You can teach that child can grow up.
You know, I'm amazed the way I keep discovering how little I'm sure of.
Well, none of us are very sure of anything. Dr. Conrad thought he was doing the right thing. He didn't know. There's so much to say for both sides.
Not according to the law, there isn't.
The law isn't what you're thinking about, though, is it?
No.
Think of how lucky you are. You just have to defend it. How would you like to be a juror?
I wouldn't. You know, Joni, you're a pretty good girl.
You better save that kind of talk for Lulabelle.
Come on.
Oh.
Let's go.
Dr. Lillis, was the Warner baby a Mongoloid?
Yes, it was.
Can you describe to the jury the physical characteristics of a Mongoloid infant?
Yes. First, there's an oblique slant of the palpebral fissure. That's the fold of skin on the eyelids, giving the eyes a slightly oriental appearance. The eyes tend to roll upward. The infant constantly thrusts out his tongue and withdraws it. The skull is rounder. The occipital region is flatter than normal. The ears are much smaller. The hands are small, short fingers, and the fifth finger sometimes turns inward. The neck is short and broad, and there's a loose fold of fatty tissues across the base of the neck. Generally, there's a lack of muscle tone, a kind of physical listlessness.
Is it hard to distinguish a Mongoloid at birth?
Now, sometimes the safest thing to do is to compare it with a group of normal infants. The difference is then quite evident.
What is the cause of Mongolism?
We don't know that.
And is there any cure?
No, there is not.
No drugs? No treatment which is effective?
Absolutely none.
What is the lifespan of a Mongoloid?
Well, it's much shorter than normal. Most of them die before they're 21. Many die in infancy.
Well, why is that?
Well, there are a number of reasons. First, they're all feeble and lethargic feeders as infants. Second, their nasal breathing is sometimes seriously obstructed. Third, they're backward and weak. And furthermore, 10 to 15% of them have congenital heart lesions.
Can a Mongoloid be educated?
No, it cannot.
Can it be expected to earn its own living and take care of itself?
No, sir.
Why is that?
Because it's mentally retarded.
I see. Thank you, Doctor. Your witness.
Dr. Lillis, can you tell us any more about Mongolism than you already have?
For instance?
For instance, as children, what kind of disposition do they have?
I object. This is going too far afield.
Overruled. You opened the door to this line of questioning, Mr. Preston.
You can answer the question.
Well, I have passive dispositions.
Mm-hmm. Does that mean pleasant?
Well, you might say that.
Would you say that?
Yeah?
Pleasant, sweet, obedient?
Yeah.
Are they easy to amuse?
Yes.
Do they derive great pleasure from simple things?
Yeah.
Laugh a lot?
Yes.
Are they unusually affectionate?
Yes.
And do they, in turn, generally inspire unusual affection in their mothers?
That's hard to say.
Dr. Lillis, you're testifying as an expert, are you not? All right, I ask your expert opinion. Do the mothers of Mongoloids usually feel an unusual warmth and affection for them?
Yes.
Now, I'd like a statistic, Doctor. What percentage of births in the United States produce Mongoloids?
Well, it's approximately 1 out of 660.
That would be between 3,000 and 4,000 a year, huh?
I imagine so, yes.
And how many of those babies are usually done away with by their doctors?
I object! I object, Your Honor.
Sustained. The jury will disregard it. You know better than that, Mr. Grimaldi.
Yes, sir.
Then conduct yourself accordingly.
I apologize to the court, sir. No further questions.
I think we'll take a 10-minute recess now.
You're next, Bill. How do you feel?
I feel nervous.
So do I.
You know, it's strange. I suppose every man who's ever been tried for committing a crime has been in here and wondered to himself, like I do right now, how did this ever happen to me? I always considered myself an ordinary man. Well, maybe the only thing that isn't ordinary about me is that I never got married. I suppose I told myself I never had the time. I don't know. But right now I'm glad, because if I did have a wife and kids, but... You know, I've even wondered, what would I do if my wife gave birth to a Mongoloid? What would I do then? My own wife.
You'd do the same thing.
Would I?
Yes. If it were me, I'd have to believe I was right in any case, or I don't think I could live with myself.
Well, you see, that's just the point. Because right now, at this moment, after all these weeks, I don't know that I did do the right thing.
That doesn't concern me now. I'm interested in saving your life. And if I do, you can spend the rest of it figuring out the answer to that one.
And if you don't?
Somebody asked me a while ago how I was going to defend you if I didn't believe in what you did. Well, I think you were wrong, Bill. But I don't think you deserve to die for it. And if I have to tear that jury to pieces to keep you alive, I'll do it. Now, you've got to get up there and help me. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go. Now, Dr. Conrad, we come down to the day in question. You were Leona Warner's obstetrician, were you not?
Yes, I was.
And did you deliver her baby on August 3rd, Tuesday morning at the West Side Hospital?
I did.
Was the birth normal?
Yes.
Was the baby normal?
No, it was not. It was a typical Mongoloid with a congenital heart lesion.
In your opinion as a doctor, what was the life expectancy of that infant?
That's hard to say.
50 years?
No.
Well, can you give us your opinion, Dr. Conrad?
I would say closer to 10 years, and probably a good deal less.
How long had you known Mr. and Mrs. Warner?
About 6 years.
And had you delivered Mrs. Warner's other children?
Yes.
And this was their third child?
Yes.
Now, can you tell the jury how soon after the baby was born did you suspect it to be a Mongoloid?
As soon as I examined it and heard the heart lesion.
And did other doctors examine the baby and confer with you?
Yes, 3 other doctors. Dr. McSorley, Dr. Lillis, and Dr. Taylor.
And did their opinions cause you to change your diagnosis in any way?
No, sir.
What did you do after the baby was taken out of the delivery room?
Well, then I went to tell the parents.
How did they react?
Well, Mrs. Warner was still unconscious, but Mr. Warner was destroyed.
What did you do then?
Then I went back to my office.
How long did you stay there?
Well, I don't know, about 5 or 6 hours.
By yourself?
Yes.
Did you leave the office during those hours?
Yes, I left several times to look at the baby in the nursery.
And what did you do when you finally left your office for the last time?
I went back to the nursery again and gave the baby an intravenous injection of 1.5 grains of morphine.
And did you kill that baby under your own advisement?
Yes.
Did you take full responsibility?
Yes.
No more questions.
I want to say something. I want to say something to you. Now, I want to tell it.
This court is in recess for 5 minutes.
Let me go.
Counsel, you calm down. Now, listen, Jerry, I'm not going to allow you to interfere. My father knows what he's doing in there.
But it's not fair. That man's up there all alone, and I asked him to do it. I asked him to.
ask him. You understand that? You can't help him now. You can only hurt him and yourself.
Jerry, don't. I don't know what went on that day between you and Bill. I don't care anymore. Just don't stand up there.
Please.
I don't know whether you were right or wrong. I can't think anymore. I just want it to be over. He's dead. I want it to be over. I love you, Jerry.
I love you.
We better go back in now.
Dr. Conrad, I'm going to have something read to you.
You do solemnly swear, each man by what he holds most sacred, that into whatsoever house you shall enter, it shall be for the good of the sick to the utmost of your power. That you will exercise your art solely for the cure of your patients and will give no drug, perform no operation for criminal purpose, even if solicited, far less suggested.
Do you recognize that?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
It's an excerpt from the Hippocratic Oath.
Did you take that oath when you graduated from medical school?
Yes, sir.
No further questions.
The defense rests, Your Honor. I really haven't got very much to say. A newborn infant is dead, and a man has confessed to its murder. What were the thoughts that ran through Dr. Conrad's mind during the 6 hours it took him to decide to kill? Were they evil? Were they violent? Were they criminal? The rules of the courts do not allow Dr. Conrad to tell you what he thought or felt. So you can only try to put yourselves in his place. He thought, I believe, of 4 people. There was the child, and he wondered what life might be like for it during all of its empty, unknowing days. And he thought of the mother and the father, and of the endless sadness they would feel. And finally, he thought of himself. He had brought a new life into the world, and somehow it had begun all wrong. And he wondered why. And there was no answer. And now it is up to you. You will have to wonder to yourselves how and why it happened. Did Dr. Conrad know he was committing a crime? He did. Did he understand the dreadful risk involved? He did. Did he stand to gain anything by the death of an infant? I don't think so. Do you? Then what did he feel? He felt, I imagine, pity. He felt compassion. He felt sadness. And his sadness made him overcome his fear. And where he had brought forth miraculous life, he induced merciful death. Which one of you might not have done the same? Which one? None of us knows. Remember now, Dr. Conrad has violated the laws of man and of God, and you have the opportunity to retaliate. If you think that's right, you may kill him in the name of justice, or you may show mercy to him who has risked death to show mercy.
Mr. Grimaldi?
Your Honor, I hadn't expected the defense to end its case so quickly. If it pleases the court, I request permission to make my closing statement tomorrow morning.
Oh, this is a little unusual. Have you any objections, Mr. Preston?
You are ready. What's this all about?
I want to talk to you.
No objection, Your Honor.
Very well. We'll recess until 10 tomorrow morning. The jury is cautioned not to discuss this case among themselves or with anybody else.
Bill.
Bill, I forgive you.
See you in the morning.
Oh, guard, look, will you hold him over there for a few minutes, please? Well, Larry, what do you think?
The truth?
Truth.
I expect a hung jury.
You mean that?
I mean it.
I haven't spoken my piece yet.
I still expect it.
So do I. That means we start all over again with a new jury.
And so on and so on.
Possibly. I might get him sooner or later.
And then you might not. Why are you keeping Dr. Conrad here?
I don't know. Maybe I just want to keep him out of his cell a couple minutes more. Are you still sore? Do you know you can get an ulcer that way?
Can't you say something nice just once?
Sure. Sure, it's a nice day. How's that? You know, you must have cut classes the day they studied the functions of the prosecutor. Criminal law is set up so that there are two sides. One side represents all the people, the other side represents one of the people. And they get together in court and they fight it out in front of an impartial judge and jury. Now, I know that part of it you know already. But whether you believe it or not, I'm as interested in protecting the innocent as you are. That's part of my job. But once I'm convinced the people have to prosecute, I put on my armor, I sharpen my sword, I get out here in court, and I flail around with every drop of strength that's in me. The people pay me to prosecute. I wouldn't be able to sleep at nights unless I figured I earned that money. Same as you, same as all of us. Now, here's the point of it all. It seems like we're enemies. We're not. We're on the same side, Ken. We're on the side of the law. We perpetuate the system that governs our lives by fighting each other. If we didn't, there wouldn't be any system, and there wouldn't be any law. So, till we get together and we find a better way, you can consider me your mortal enemy. And your brother.
The least you can say is touche.
Consider it said.
That was a lovely closing statement, Larry. I've been watching your client in court. He seems like a pretty decent guy.
That's right, he is. You know, no matter what happens, he can never practice medicine again.
I know. What would you say if I let him plead guilty to manslaughter first?
Bill, do you trust me?
Yes. What is it?
You go back inside. I'll see you in a little while. I'd say yes.
Pretty surprising, isn't it? Let's talk to his honor.
Let's do that.
You think we're right?
We're right.
What'll he get?
It's hard to say. A couple of years.
That's up to the judge. I'd say 3 to 5.
Do you mind if I ask you something?
No, go ahead.
Why are you doing this?
No, I don't know. Lots of reasons.
Practical?
Partly. I love to save the taxpayers' money.
Personal?
No. Never personal. Never. You know, when I was a kid, I had a little brother like the baby your doctor killed. He died when he was 9 years old. I loved him very much. Well, that's neither here nor there, is it? Let's go inside.